What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? I remembered an intro this time, so let's be excited for that. We're gonna talk about patch stuff. This might be a little different, but I do play the game outside of Duel and in Duel, so a lot of these changes potentially might impact that game mode. In fact, I can tell you, they will. So, plus we can talk about SHIVA, but that's gonna be at the end because he's got a whole other thing to talk about. These skins, I actually think all these skins are good, so good work on that. The nerf Sundering Siphon. Apparently it was bugged, but either way, I still think this is going to be a good ability. It's basically, at least the way I use it is I'm a tank, there's another tank. Let's make the fight way more in my favor. You know what I mean? Chaotic Beads. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't even pick this item up that much just because I thought the cooldown was more valuable myself. But it does have the potential to be pretty frustrating if you're in a really beads heavy matchup. I actually kind of wish I bought it more. I guess I still can, just to see if it nets me any kills. Now it can't even kill them. Now it straight up can't. Wait, I imagine it's there, but either way, it can't kill anymore. They nerfed med. They nerfed all the meds the same way. It went from 10 plus 5% to 10 plus 3%. Not a huge nerf. It probably still will be picked up really frequently in Duel. It's just so valuable, but you can't deny the fact that it is a little worse. So luckily, now you might be able to actually kill people in Duel more frequently. Warrior's Axe also got nerfed. A little minorly. Nothing crazy, but definitely a little minor nerf. It's basically a little worse for sustain. That's all. Here's Axe. They just did the cooldown again. The Crusher got nerfed. This one, I really don't think the Crusher's that good in Duel. At least I wouldn't typically buy it in Duel, just too many items you need. However, might change the Hunter build, because the most meta Hunter builds right now start off, well, ADC, I guess I should say, if you're a Hunter. They start with this item. This is the first damage item they rush. So I do wonder if it'll change that at all. It still might be valuable enough, but because you sell it anyway late game, in case you're wondering, you just get rid of this item, because it's the power spike isn't quite as heavy late game as it is early game. But, we'll see. Keep an eye on this one. Achilles got some scaling tuned down. So, maybe Alec could win, even though I played Achilles and lost. And it definitely wasn't because of his damage. Okay, Bastet. Jesus Christ. I think, before we get into this, I'm going to give a brief my thoughts on Bastet as a character right now. I think she's... I hate to say it because they reworked her so many times, right? So many times. I think she is a flawed character. She either does too much damage and is way too good right now, or she doesn't do any damage and she's fucking worthless. The way that they've built her, she's simply too good at too far. She doesn't... The reason assassins are what they are is they're really high damage, high risk characters, but they're high risk because a lot of them... And even if they're not in melee, like Tsukiyomi's a good example. Tsukiyomi and Bastet excel at similar things. Like the poke fight, at the burst fight, get in, do damage, try and, Bastet gets to get in, get out. Tsukiyomi keeps the damage. However, compare their ults, right? Tsukiyomi, bam, bam, bam. He's literally next to you. And, in a 5v5 situation, if there's 5 people next to him, he's going to get blown up. Bastet does the opposite. She brings you to her from really far away. She's not a risky character. She's so safe, and she does insane damage, and she has insane sustain, and she has arguably the best ult in the game. Outside of Ulurun. But it's so good. Her ult is so stacked. I hate her ult. It's just the dumbest ability. Because there's no warning for it. The audio cue is tiny. The effect on the screen, you think it would be the big cat the whole time running at you. It's not. It's like a Neath auto attack. Then you're like, oh, what's that? And then you get plucked and, sucked. So, they're nerfing this to stand on their passive. Ability lifesteal, decrease lifesteal, decrease lifesteal, decrease lifesteal, decrease lifesteal. So, it's just lifesteal and ability lifesteal. She had it all. It's all getting tuned down quite a bit. I apologize if you can hear my phone. It's right next to my mic. I will move that. Good. She had a lot of lifesteal, and especially with the new Jotuns and Soul Eaters, she had a ton of lifesteal, so this is good. I mean, spoiler alert, I don't think this is enough to really hammer home how, where she should be in the meta, but it will definitely help a little bit, especially in Duel. I think this might affect Duel more than normal Conquest, because you're just back in normal conquest after your rotation regardless. But, you know, it's nice. And then the base damage on roll only by 20, which I'm, you know, it's... I mean, why does it even do... Like, you know, it's one of the best abilities in the game already. Why does it need to do 400 damage? You know what I mean? Whatever. Good thing. I'm glad that's getting nerfed. I still think she needs a little more, but we'll get there when we get there. They nerfed the Devour to give it a cooldown, so he actually has to level it if he wants to spam it every 15 seconds. And now they have to level his ult. You know, normal stuff. Not good. Camazot's the number one character to play against, so I totally get that. Fenrir, this is mainly to stop support Fenrir, they said in the patch notes. Makes sense. It's always kind of annoying when assassins go support, just because they have a lot of base damage in their kit. Him and Aja, so you get a pass from me. Plus, I think Fenrir, this isn't going to affect him too much anyway. I think he'll still be quite good, regardless. Gilgamesh. If you don't know, maybe not in Duel, if you only watch Duel, but in the normal game mode, and pretty much any of the normal game modes, Gilgamesh is one of the best characters in the game, just full on, and has been since his release. He has so much in his kit, and Dropkick is definitely one of the best abilities in the game, to be honest, in my opinion. It's just so good. They increase the damage it does, late game, so good stuff there. And then the scaling, and then his jump. So, I still think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be completely fine. I don't think this will affect him too much, but it might be a little less frustrating when you don't get one shot from his dropkick, and now it just does most of your health. Izanami, clearly everyone knows I lost to her as Loki, so she's clearly OP. They did this nerf because I asked them to, so shout out to my connections at High Res. I'm kidding, by the way. This is not at all why I lost. That's because I played like shit. But it's, you know, it's 90% scaling on her too is a lot. That ability hits really, really hard. So, and plus she's one of the best hunters in the game right now. She has, I don't want to spend too much time. It's already almost 10 minutes. I do want to kind of go through these, but to be fair, the real patch is kind of short. But if you don't know, I think what makes hunters particularly good in Duel and in the normal game is a mixture of lane clear, boxing potential. And Izanami has, especially in Duel, this is true. She has lane clear, insane lane clear, and insane boxing potential. That's also why Medusa is one of the best hunters in the game. So why Charybdis some people consider might, because Charybdis does have good lane clear and kind of good boxing potential if you can clear 2, which is one of the best abilities. I digress. I digress. Good nerf. Mulan, thank God. I wish they dedicated to this 20 flat damage nerf the whole time. I really, really do. I thought it said Kit Harington for a second. That really, threw me off. But yeah, I don't know why they, cowered it out of just giving her the 20 damage nerf. She does not need, she would not suffer that much. Because frankly, Mulan's just so good. Mulan does so much damage. It's gotten a little better now that her items are nerfed, but she still does a lot. I wish they would have kept the 20 damage nerf, but we'll see. If they're nerf for early game, that's good too. So I'm just glad to see Mulan nerfs. Overall, good stuff. There's a couple characters I would have liked to see get a little more tuning. Mainly just Bastet is, to be honest, a pretty big outlier. The rest, I think Soul's pretty nuts right now, but that's, neither here or there. Freya. I think a lot of the magical ADCs are getting off pretty easy, but yeah. Now let's go on to the main patch. Once again, we're going to talk about SHIVA at the end. Some skins. SHIVA's recolors look good. Honestly, all these skins look pretty decent. I definitely think the Gun Kepri is pretty funny. This Tsukiyomi skin's kind of disappointing because the main design of it's so boring. I like the... I guess this is the Kusarigama, but I also like the way they did the Tonfas. But the rest of the skin is yeah. It's also in a chest, so who cares? I have a new event, whatever. Blah, 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 stuff. Quality of life stuff. Welcome pass. Basically, if you're a new player, and for everyone, obviously, because they don't want people to not be able to buy it, you can buy it, and you get some skins for it. Meh. Some new player stuff. So, I fixed a lot of bugs. Game modes. Alright, Conquest. They changed the duo lane into a single Harpy. I guess they just wanted it to be harder because it was too easy to do. Sure, whatever. They also delayed... So me and my friends actually discovered this. I'm not going to take credit that we were the only ones to discover this. We just found that the jungle doing yellow speed, and then the back Harpies as they did before in Season 8, and the mage just hogging red, if you don't know Hand of the Gods. It might be Fist of the Gods, but I'm pretty sure it's Hand of the Gods. Hand of the Gods red and just get to red. They both meet up at red, but the jungler is level 2 that way. They don't want that to happen, so they made it spawn at 30 seconds now. So basically, now the start is just jungle and mid start to speed, then go to red. Which is, this fight is just, right now, is just kill who can kill a minion faster and get level 2, which is okay. But it is, I did like getting to lane as level 2 as a jungler, because I jungle. But, you know, it is what it is. Obelisk, they nerfed the gold for it a ton, and XP. But definitely the gold. I mean, they really cut that one down. And they also decreased the damage it does. It was good. It was really strong. Getting this was like super, super important. I actually think a lot of people underrated how important this was to get. When me and my friends played, we pretty much dedicated all resources to making sure we secured the flowers. They also increased the penalty for stealing flowers, which is good because it was pretty easy to do. Didn't really cost a whole lot. And it was popular. So this is good. The flower is still very, very good. I would encourage people to get it. It still does quite a bit of damage. But now it's just a little less snowbally. So that's always good. Less snowball is good because the game is already very, very snowbally. And then they gave Slash. By the way, I hate Slash. I know I'm in the minority here, but I think Slash sucks. But they gave Wild Juggernauts protections. So, yay. Alright, they nerfed Persistent Teleport, thank God. That thing was broken. They made this from 30% of your max health to 20% of the target's max health, which is, it's going to do less damage. It is what it is. No problem for me. I mean, this was like the fuck you Poseidon button, and now it's a little bit worse most of the time, so, you know, whatever. Calamitous Rod, they actually made it to where it's more consistent, but nerfed its damage a little bit. I'd still like to see how this works because I've yet to see this be strong. I feel like even normal mages are going the attack speed one just for like tower structure damage. So I still feel like this needs some help, but they're insistent that it's pretty good. So maybe it will be. Maybe I haven't played a lot of mages this season, so especially not like outside of duel, which is where this would really shine. Because if you're playing a mage in duel and you're not playing like a mage ADC, you're kind of a clown. But yeah. Hopefully this makes it better. Bluestone gets another buff. It's looking like this might just be the way to start in solo, but who knows? I don't play a ton of solo, and however, I do think it might be fun in duel. However, duel is kind of like if you don't start Bombas, you're looking a little rough. We'll see. Sun Binding got buffed. That's a little yikes because Athena and Ymir use this item, Cerberus. But whatever. It's not like a broken item or anything. So we'll see. That's the only remaining tier 2. Yeah, it's a weird spot for this item. Good early, sell it late. Titan's Bane. Here's the problem. No one's gonna pick up Titan's Bane. There's just not enough. Serrated's just too good on assassins. They benefit from it too much. Plus, it gives them some sustain. The increased pen on an ability is nice, but it's not like no one like if you want your abilities to hit harder to tanks, you're not thinking about Titan's Bane. You're thinking about Heartseeker, and Heartseeker also has like 20 more power. It's more expensive, but I just think this unlike so many good items now, like Hydras and Soul Eater, they have percent pen on them now, so you really only need that one, and you only really need. Typically, I would say the minimum in every match of Smite for percent pen is 20. That's the minimum. It's half the cap. 30 is a good spot. 40 is obviously great. But, yeah, Assassins, which is mainly what this is for, are already buying percent pen. They really don't need this. They need to, I don't know what they're going to do for this item, but there's just too many good percent pen options. Unlike mages, who literally only have like 3. So, Relic Dagger got nerfed. If you didn't know, this item was super broken. Not in duel, obviously, but normal game. This item's super, super broken with the new relics, so that makes sense. They buffed Jingwei, which is awesome, because I love playing Jingwei because she's Starscream, and I love Starscream. Just good overall. I don't know if they're going to, she still is going to feel kind of bad to play, just because the way her kit works is it requires a lot of setup for not that much payoff, in my opinion. But she's very good at living, and I think this will help her damage, so. Plus for me, this is bullshit. I don't know what they were thinking here. I think both these changes suck asshole because I don't like playing as Hera anyway. And they literally buffed her 2 most annoying abilities to be more annoying. Her Polymorph does more damage and Argus is tankier. So, Fuck you for that one. F for me. There's also another... Well, we'll get there. This is a good buff for Bakasura. Honestly, this might make Baka like a real threat again in Duel. Because it's a lot. Like, I mean, like, obviously level 1, like 1 second's not like a huge deal. But 2 seconds on Butcher Blades and Takedown, that's going to be really nice. I think in Conquest is going to help him a lot, or in like any normal game mode. I think this is just a good change. I think that makes the character more interesting, and I love changes like that. So definitely good work on there. Rat, I don't know why we're buffing the fucking crit Acorn. The crit's not fun to play against, especially when you get it early. It's not fun to lose half your health because someone got lucky, and Dart, like, now it gives 20% physical lifesteal and 20 basic damage. He's going to hit you with a crit Dart and then crit Hydra basic you. You're just going to be fucking dead. You know, like, no matter who you are, you're going to be fucking dead. But people don't really build crit Rat anyway, but when I do come across it, it is annoying. So I'm not a huge fan of that. Kuma's annoying, but this thing doesn't really matter that much. Just like a quality of life stuff. Terra, who fucking cares? She's better in Assault. I don't know what we're thinking about buffing the physical power scaling on. Like, who's like, oh yeah, Hercules doesn't do enough damage. But like, whatever. I don't think this is going to skyrocket him to being the best warrior in the game, but I do think he's already quite good. And I don't think he needs some more damage. Before I get on to Shiva, I'm going to take a drink, so... Remember to drink your water. That's important. Stay hydrated. If you haven't read their Shiva closer look, I recommend you do it. It's on their high-res page where the patch notes are. It's very insightful and gives a lot of cool stuff to what goes into. Because if you don't, let's scroll up. Like, there's these definitely shout out to these people. I'm not going to try and I don't want to like destroy their names, so I'm not going to try. But definitely, thank goodness they got some of these people in here because they killed it. Now, Shiva's a Hindu god, and Hindu gods are tough for Smite. If you haven't been around a while, Hindu gods are tough because they are still actively worshipped in a real world way, so they have to be really, really careful how they portray them. If you don't know, many years ago, way early in Smite's lifespan, they actually got a lot of flack for the original design of Kali. So they changed her. Even though, was it really it doesn't matter. They had to change her. And then pretty much since then, they've been very hesitant to do Hindu gods because they have to be so careful. Ganesh was, I think, the one before Shiva, if I'm not mistaken. I remember Ganesh... They delayed because they were like, we need to get him right, guys. Like, we need to get Ganesh right. So we're going to delay it. And Ganesh is one of the best god releases in the game. He was super, super accurate. He looked incredible. He felt incredible. And they put just as much effort into Shiva. If you didn't know, they had like consultants. They had real musicians. I believe Clumsy actually has some Hindu heritage, so he's able to talk to some of his family members. They put a lot of love and effort into bringing these Hindu characters, and I think it shows every time. They always look incredible. Especially, I mean, since Ganesh, they look really, really good. I think all the gods look good, but you can tell there's like an extra element they talk about in the breakdown. A lot of times when they get a god, they're like, okay, now can we take what their stuff is and turn it into a fun kit for the game? In this one, they're more like, no, we want to make sure we keep this accurate. Like, the kit is important, but we want to be accurate first, kit second. His passive is interesting. So basically I probably should just play the VOD, but I'm just going to try and describe it in a way to make people understand. So he has a passive meter, and he has two sides. When he does something, like auto attack and ability, blah, 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 dealing damage, it will start filling up. It's a circle, right? It'll start filling up little sections of it. And on one side, it'll fill up, I believe it's clockwise, no matter what. There's nothing you can control. It just will happen. Now it'll go to different stances over time. It will give him, if he's blue, which is the first one, it's an HP 5 and MP 5 aura to everyone, to him and all around him. And then red is an HP 5, MP 5 debuff. This one is weird to me because it's hard to see the benefit here. Like, I feel like most people won't even notice, but maybe it'll be huge. I don't know. But however, when you do switch, because it's split down the middle. So you will, if you want a full circle, you would technically be switching once, but if you went a little bit over, you'd be doing twice because there's a line in the middle. So starts at noon, the noon position. When you get to 6 p.m., it switches to red, and you get the other effects. And then at noon again, it switches back to blue. So if that helps clear it up. And it reverses the cooldown by 2 seconds, which is actually pretty nice. So, all right, Emblazoned Sweep. Shiva's trident is emblazoned with the fire of Agni as he spins it around, dealing damage, pulling in enemies, and leaving behind a firewall at the edge. So this one is just a small circle around Shiva. Everyone around him, which is pretty big, actually. Like, the CC is big, not like the ability is. It's really not that big, but like it's pretty crazy that he just gets like a big AoE pull. He doesn't have to aim that hard. They do take some damage, and there's a firewall at the edge. Think of like a Ganesh ult, but a circle. And if he's blue, Bliss, allies that go through it gain movement speed. And if he's red, Destruction, enemies will get a protection debuff. So the spin is pretty chunky damage. It's also on a 12-second cooldown. So this is definitely like his main damage ability. It's definitely what you'd max first. The damage of the wall is pretty big too. However, it is like Ganesh, where like they have to be standing in it, it seems like, to actually get the damage. So good, yes, but like, is it going to be happening every time? Not really. However, 20% debuff, or 20 flat debuff is going to be pretty good early game. So this ability seems good, and it lasts for 4 seconds. The firewall. It also it's like it definitely combos with this too, which we'll get to right now. Hits the butt of his trident down to the ground, shaking the Damar drum. I apologize. I'm not going to get these right. Causing energy to dissipate and damage enemies. Depending on the selection, enemies in the chosen segment are knocked up as well. So this is a cone that has like a Sun Wukong selection. If you don't know, Sun Wukong can be like an ox, tiger, bird. He does the same thing. It's just where the knockup is going to be. Right in front of him, a little bit out in front of him, and then like far out in front of him. That's all it is. You just pick where the CC is going to be. Their damage is the same no matter what. He'll always get the buff or debuff no matter what. It's literally just the only thing you select is where the knockup will be. Pretty good damage again. It actually scales a little bit higher than his one. And when he's blue, allies and himself get an attack speed buff. If he twos his allies, they get an attack speed buff. Weird. Okay, but okay. He'll always get the attack speed buff if he's blue, by the way, when he's in Bliss stance. Destruction, the enemies will get hit with an attack speed debuff. So nothing crazy, just some nice some things that like, oh nice, I got the attack speed, I got the kill for that, or like, oh thank God he outboxed me, I lowered his attack speed. But typically nothing like super shattering with either of them. And then this is the juice ability. This is the one that I think is the most interesting out of besides his ult, of course. Shiva dashes into a pillar of fire where he meditates for a short duration, taking reduced damage and CC immune, which is already pretty good, before being able to dash out again. Each dash deals damage to enemies as he meditates in the pillar, emits an aura. So this one's a little hard to picture. He starts where he is. He dashes. It's a pretty short dash, but he also gets 2 of them. So he dashes. He's in a small circle around him, and he's meditating, where he kind of turns a little dark, like black maybe. And if he's blue in Bliss stance, they gain allies in the aura, which is a pretty small aura, by the way. It's not very big, so they do have to be pretty close. Gain a block stack, and Shiva does, up to 3 seconds after leaving. They also go away, by the way, so you can't just get block stacks like in the jungle and have a fight and have 50 block stacks. You can't do that. They do dissipate over time. And in Destruction, in the aura, it's constant damage. So basically, he dashes, he's sitting there, something's going on around him. He's not really doing anything. I don't believe he can do anything besides sit there and let the aura do what it does. And then if he wants to, he probably can end it early and dash again, or he can just sit there for the full duration and dash again after that. The damage is pretty low, as it should be. It's just a dash. The aura damage, however, this is if he's only in Destruction stances, he get this damage, by the way. It's actually pretty chunky, because it's every 0.25 seconds. So this, if he's in aura stance, like a Destruction stance, be mindful about standing in this, because it will start tearing you up pretty quick. This, I think, ability is really, really strong on paper, because Ares is ulting you, you just sit there and meditate. Dodgy ulting you, you sit there and meditate. Koga Khan ult hitting you, and there's not much you can do. Realistically, you should just dash out of it. But on the off chance you dash and it still hits you, you're taking 40% less damage every single time. Pretty strong. Pretty strong ability here. I'm excited to use it because I think it sounds fun and cool. So, and also block stacks, like, that's pretty good. You put higher than Nimi on this guy, you're going to be very hard to take down. Very hard to take down. Max cooldown? Oh, yeah. And then his ult, which is my favorite part about his kit. Obviously, it's his ultimate ability. Performs his Tandava. I think I got that right. Trailing for the next 6 seconds with CC immunity and 20% damage mitigation. So a lot of mitigation on this guy. Every 1.5 seconds, he performs a step that can be pre-selected. So think of this as like Merlin's stance switching, where when you press the ability, you have like a second, in this case 1.5, but you have like a second to pick which one you want. And you get 4. You get 4 of these effects. Heal and mana restore, 50% damage and healing. So this is a little, they explain this one a little complicated, but from the way me and my friends have understood it, it is, if you pick step 2, it will be 50% of both of these. And it also amplifies the next step. So, let's do level 1, you 80 and 125. So when you hit step 2, you'll be healing for 40, and I don't know what half of 125 is. What is that, like 62 rounded? It's like 62. So you'd be doing half of that with step 2, but you'd be amplifying it. And the amplification is 50%. So theoretically, if you amplify heal or damage, you would actually not be losing any. You wouldn't be punished for doing that. You would still gain the full effect. It would just be split up into 2 parts instead of 1, if that makes any sense. Because it's giving 50% and doing 50%. And I'm going to be honest. And the 3 is the damage. So if you look at the numbers here, step 1 is 160 plus 10% of your power. That's not very good. That's not great at all, to be honest. And half that's still 80 and 5% of your power. So it's going to be doing like 90, maybe 100 if you have a ton of power, but I doubt that. So it's typically, me and my friends, because this does a lot of damage, by the way, 325 plus 50. So me and my friends figure the best thing to do is just, when you ult, you hit 2. So when in the 1.5 seconds, he does the 50% of both and the amplification. And then after that, you'd hit the 3 to do damage, max damage, because you'd be amplifying the 3. 2 again, and then 3. I don't see the 1 being particularly useful unless you really need the heal. But it definitely seems like the rotation for this so far is going to be 2, 3, 2, 3. But it does look really cool because he's like doing the dance and, you're moving around. You can move during this, by the way. You're not stationary. And so this seems like a cool ability. He's playing Dance Dance Revolution. The cooldown's not super long. I'm really excited to play duel with this guy because I want both Shivas to ult at the same time, and it really is just like a dance-off. That just sounds like a ton of fun to me. But yeah, overall, I think Shiva looks like a ton of fun. I might, since I do content on the game now, I think when PTS goes up, I might try and grab a couple videos with my friend. Maybe all my friends. I don't know. We'll see. But I might grab a couple of customs and see how he is. I'll play him like I would in duel and what I think is right, and we'll just see. Overall, though, decent patches. I do think they could have afforded. I mean, it's the first patch since the big update, so I definitely respect them wanting to take things slow and see how things really develop. Because to be honest, there's a lot of things that people still aren't used to yet. I mean, relics, when to buy your relic, the totem, obelisk. Sorry, it's the obelisk, like slash. A lot of stuff we don't have, when to buy a glyph, just stuff we don't know yet. So I definitely do respect them taking their time. Shiva looks incredible. I'm really excited to play him. He looks like a ton of fun. I'm hoping he is fun. He's a warrior, so pretty simple class for the most part. Yeah, and that's, I think, going to be it. Managed to keep this under half an hour, which I think is pretty good for a bigger patch. And yeah, this is probably going to be the only video today. I guess we'll see. I might record another one. Just depends. But if not, don't be surprised if it's the only video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.